start with the big four: diamond, emerald, ruby, and sapphire. Now, diamond is the king of all gemstones. It's the hardest natural substance known to man. But what hardness refers to is its resistance to scratching. Okay? Diamond also happens to be one of the toughest stones, and that's its resistance to breaking or fracturing. But that doesn't mean it's indestructible. On the scale of hardness, it's called the Mohs scale. Diamond is at the top at 10. Everything else is far less, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But did you know that diamonds come in a lot of different colors? They can be black, brown, or yellow. Those are fairly affordable. But they can also be many other colors like pink, green, red, orange, yellow. I'm sorry, I did say yellow. Purple. But did you know that they can be treated to be that color? They can be natural, they could be treated. So documentation is actually it's crucial when you're buying colored diamonds, because you want to know if the stone is natural or if it's synthetic, which means it's been made in a laboratory. You want to know if the color origin is natural or synthetic, or if the stone is synthetic and treated to be a fancy color. And the only way you're going to know that is if you have a laboratory documentation to prove that. These rings here at the bottom, these are all synthetic diamonds. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with buying a synthetic diamond or synthetic any other kind of stone, as long as it's disclosed to you and you know exactly what you're buying and paying accordingly. Sapphire. Sapphire is number 9 on the Mohs scale of hardness, which means it's right next to diamond as far as the numerical quality, but it is far, far, far different as far as the hardness. Sapphires are typically heated, not always, but usually, and that's done to enhance the color and make it look better. But sapphires come in a lot of colors, not just blue. Yellow, pink, green, orange, purple, and sometimes they change color depending on the light source. Sapphire has a sister stone. It's called a ruby. Ruby and sapphire are the same stone. If it's red, it's a ruby. If it's any other color, it's a sapphire. Again, usually heated, not always, but usually. It's as durable as a sapphire, but there are other things going on with rubies that you need to be aware of. Sometimes they are glass filled. Sometimes they're composite stones, which means ruby gravel is melted and fused and held together by glass. They're very unstable. So make sure you get documentation when you're buying, particularly rubies. Emerald. This is a stone that's not so much on the durable side. Typically, emerald forms naturally with internal fissures, which is a polite way of saying fractures or cracks. That is the nature of the stone. That's just the way it forms. So typically, emeralds are treated, either oil or clarity enhancement, sometimes both. The oiling many times is done right at the mine source before it ever goes to cutting and polishing. The clarity enhancement is done later. And all this is done to make these internal, naturally occurring fissures less visible. So the value of the stone depends on how much and what type of treatment is done. Emerald is not very hard. It breaks easily. So this is a stone that's the last thing you put on, the first thing you take off. And with that, I thank you so much for your time and attention. And if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.